Okay guys, so for today's start from stash type video, I want to make like a little wallet that can hold money or something for Christmas. And I thought, a lot of times you get someone, whatever, 20 bucks or whatever it might be, let's say. It'd be cute to do like maybe 4 fives or a couple tens or a 10 and a couple fives or anything to make it look like a little more in there, saying like just fun, like a wallet. But it's kind of like a folio kind of wallet is what I have in mind. So I have a $10 bill here. Oh my gosh, they did not roll off the tongue easy the first time. And I'm going to base it off of that so that our measurements can hold money like that, I know we have other videos of like billfold type wallets, but this one's going to be a little bit different. Anyway, so let's get started. So I will say if anything I'm using is available, some of these basic things, I'll link in the description box. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. So I appreciate it. But again, hopefully you have something in your stash, obviously, to do these things with. Great use of your paper, and it'll be really fun, I think. So this is just over 6 inches wide. I don't know how big money is, to be honest. I hardly ever have cash on me. And just over 2.5. So just over 2.5, just over 6. All right, so I'm going to want this little folio thing to like hold the money, overlap here, and then this kind of comes up, So it's not going to be the biggest or tallest thing. But I think it'll be fun. And also, it doesn't have to be the size of the money. I mean, it could be bigger if you want. So what did I say? 2.5? Just over 2.5? Okay, so let's say we want this to be 2 3/4 inches deep, because that'll make it easy. So 2 3/4, another flap that's going to be down here. That's not quite the whole 2 3/4, but let's say 2 3/4 plus some overlap. So half. Okay, so 2 3/4 times 2, that's 4, 5.5. Let's say 6 inches. 6 inches deep. Hope that's gonna be okay. And then 6.5 inches wide. Let's try that. So 6 inches deep. 6.5 wide. This is 8.5 inch paper, so I'm just gonna take 2 inches off of it. And then what I was thinking is when I score it, I want to score it so it's just not quite halfway, but like a little bit at the bottom, and then this overlap from the top. I may not have cut it deep enough. We'll see. So, okay, this is the 6 inch side. 6.5. Okay, on the 6 inch side, I want to do, let's say, 1.5 inches. Is that going to hold the money at 1.5 inches? Is that silly? It comes up 1.5 inches. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? So 1.5 inches. We'll talk about these in just a moment, the measurements again. So if you guys recall, I said 2 3/4 inches wide here. So that means, and I cut it at 6 inches. So that means we have 3 1/4 inches to play with, and I just did 1.5 here. So that means another 1.5 plus another quarter. So 1.5, 1 3/4. And I hope that's enough overlap. We can give it a little score and see what we think. Yes! See? There you go. So it's overlapping quite a bit there, and that's pretty much what I wanted. I also wanted this to open in a way that has like little zigzaggies here, which I think is fun. So let's see. Does this hold the money right? Yes! Okay, perfect. And then I have these little scraps here. So this is 1.5 inches tall. So I'm going to want some scraps that are about 1.5 inches tall. And so let's see what we have here. Let me think if that's what I want to do from here. Yeah, sure. Well, let's, so I have these 1.5 inch pieces that are that deep, right? Because I want them to be like here. Maybe we'll make it a little bit shorter. Let's take a little bit more off. So it's just shy of 1.5 inches, okay, guys? So it tucks in there nice. And then we're going to want to score this every, 1/4 inch, every 1/2 inch, whatever you think. Maybe 1/4 inches. So I'll put this to the side. Let me get something to help me do that. And we're just having fun with this, guys. I'll just do 1/4 inch over here. So every 1/4 inch. And I'll be right back. I'm not going to score the whole thing. I just want enough length that when I cut it, it's what I want. So I'm just going to get myself If you actually, this is very fast. So you know what? We'll just stay together here. Let me think. Yeah. So I would want this to go in, out a couple times. Let's see. If this is glued in there, I would have. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to see if I go up, down. Okay. I'm just trying to see how deep these should be. So 1.5 inches by, and I'll give you a measurement in just a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Just a little shy of 1.5 inches in the height though, remember? And then scored at every 1/4 inch. So that's what this is. It's a 1.5 inch square, maybe a little shy on one side, scored every 1/4 inch. Okay, so I'll have 2 of those. Let me make another one. I already have the score lines, I just need to cut it. Okay guys, and because I just made this up and I didn't write anything down, we're going to go over this again. So we have the 2 1.5 inch squares, roughly. They're scored every 1/4 inch, and funny enough, I scored it exactly as many score lines as I needed. So that worked out. Let's talk about this piece again before we move on. So 6.5 by 6, scored at 1.5 inch on one side and scored at 1 3/4 on the other side. Okay. Now I want to make some panels here just to make it cute. I mean, you can decorate the back too, but maybe on the back you do your to and from or whatever it is that you're thinking. This is very easy. I don't know. I guess I could design this on the Cricut, but I think not everyone has one, and it's nice to do this way, and it's really quick, as you can see. Let me pick some cute paper for this. This is a very bright red, and this paper pack has very muted colors. So let me find some. Oh, that's cute. Okay, hold on. And they both don't have to be the same color. It could be, or same paper, you know, it could be 2 different papers. But let me see if I do this one. It's kind of cute. Okay, maybe I will flip over the paper. So you can imagine these pieces are 6.5 inches, right? Both of them are 6.5 inch wide by 1.5 by 1 3/4. So on the 6.5 inch side, by 1.5 and 1 3/4, I can probably cut these at the same time. My matte layers, if we want to make them easy, of course you can do quarters, but I like my matte layers to be very tight. So, what did I say? 1.5, 1 3/4, that's 3 1/4. I'm just going to cut this at 3 1/4 just to begin with. That way I don't waste this whole paper, because I'm going to cut it at not 6.5, but I want matte layers. So 6 5/8 would be my preference. Ooh, what if this paper is only 6 inches wide? Oh no. Okay, good. 6 5/8 is what I had said. So that's about here. Ooh, yeah. And for the 1.5 inch side, I want that to be this piece down here, and I want it to be the green side, because it's just like whatever. So, I mean, I can turn this over. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it here. So, on the 1.5 inch side, I'm going to do 1 3/8. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn that over. And on the top side, I need it to be 1, and instead of 1 3/4, 1 4/8, 5/8, 1 5/8, I guess. So we're just cutting the smallest amount off. I do like the Happy Holidays part, so maybe... Oh, yeah, it'll stay. Maybe I'm going to cut it off here. Sorry. 1 5/8. Okay. And then another little thing I wanted to do to decorate this is round the corners on the top piece. So again, whatever matte layers you like. Obviously, you can come up with your own numbers. I'm just showing you a technique, guys. So if you're not quite following along, it's not the biggest deal. Hopefully it makes sense though. Okay, not this one. This would be cute too. You can do corner notches, right? But I just wanted a corner round. Sorry, this thing has stuff all over it. Yeah, I mean, the notch is cute. Whatever, I'll just do this one. So corner rounding is what I was planning on doing. So you want to do it on the one that's going to be on the top. You can do all around, actually, I guess, but I wanted the bottom one to just be more straight while this one's rounded. So same thing with this. I'm just going to round these bottom pieces. Cute. Okay. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue this one in. This is going really quick. I feel like I've done this in the past though, because I used to have another channel, my old channel, and I was always doing stuff like this, so it's quite possible that I already had this kind of in mind. There we go. Right, and then this one is going to go out here. Sorry, you got a little extra glue there. If you want to do it like a magnetic closure, excuse me, of course you would trap that in between these layers of paper. I was thinking about doing Velcro. I don't know if it needs anything. You know, we can do a belly band since this is going really quickly. But I did want it to be more like a wallet. But some wallets do have like a little thing you put on the outside, right? So something to think about. But yeah, if you're gonna do magnet, and those are kind of expensive, I would definitely sandwich it in between the layers. You don't have a ton of overlap, but you know, I mean, maybe a 1/2 inch. That's kind of what we're looking at. Okay, now these guys, I scored them the way I did so that I can just glue them in. So they go up and then down, up and then down, so I can glue them in on these sides. So maybe I'll do this one towards the back first, like right here, right above the score line, right? Ooh, that's perfect. Just right in line with the edge and right above the score line. Same with this one, with the little things facing in. And put that one over here. Again, right in line. I'm gonna let that set up just a little bit before we bring in this flap, and that will put our wallet together. You just left that alone for a couple minutes. And basically we're gonna bring this in and this down. There you go, and that's why I cut it a little bit shorter than the 6.5 inches, just so that it would clear this and not be sticking out and, you know, looking not great. And you can give this a really good score, probably with a scoring tool. Just using my hand here. Especially on the very edges, of course. Bring this in, make sure that it looks good. You can definitely use double-sided adhesive if you want it to stick right away, but for me, like I've always said, I like wet glues because unless you rip it, it's never going to come apart. So I have, oh, someone's honking out there. A little glue on my fingers, so I'm trying to be careful. I want my bone folder. I'm telling you, that thing is always hiding from me. Here it is. And just really flatten that out as well as you can. Obviously, it's going to be a bump because you have cardstock that's layered upon layered on itself there. Okay. And if you don't want to just hold it, you know, we can do our little tricks that we like to do. So maybe put something like this over the top. And then also a little more weight. Make sure I didn't mess that up. Okay. And I'll be back. Okay, I just left that alone for a minute or so. Should be enough time. Yeah, there you go. And then, you know, it opens up like this. And of course you can make this flap higher. And so when you open it up, it's more like one of those coupon minders or whatever it is. Let's see if our money fits. Hopefully it still does. Yes, it fits perfectly and like right at that level, right? So there you go. And you close it up. So this is very simple, very basic. I did grab, you know, some of this. Like I said, it overlaps about 1/2 inch. So you would have 1/2 inch. I think these are bigger than that. You can definitely just cut one in half and it'll work. So if you want to just use a little Velcro, again, these are from the Dollar Tree. I don't even know what they're charging anymore, guys. I went the other day and it was like, some things were $1.25, some were $1.50, some were $1.75. Okay. But like I said, this, yeah, it's a little big. So what I would do is, I usually do this anyway before I stick it down. I would just cut this in half and use half of one, right? And that'll hold it closed for you. If you want to make a belly band, you can definitely do that. You guys know this is already 2 3/4. So, I mean, I guess I could walk you through that real quick. I tell you guys, there is always something. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Anyhow, whenever I cut it in half, and I always forget if, like, I think the soft one should go to the part that's opening and closing, right? Oh, I did that wrong. Well, not wrong. I'm gonna put that right in the middle. And then I'll take the back off of this, and then I will close this and really make sure that sticks down. And I mean, that holds it, right? And then of course you're gonna open it up. Be careful with that. But there you go, right? We can just maybe wrap it with some twine. A little twine, do a little wrap around if you want, right? That looks really cute. We can make a belly band. So real quick, I'll just talk about that since I do have some paper here. And this paper is 8.5 inches in the width still, right? So let's say we want just a little belly band that's like 1.5 inches. Which is kind of wide, but that's all right. And I've shown you guys in the past, I don't really measure my belly bands as far as scoring. It's better, in my opinion, if you put it on here and then just fold it. So I normally would take a scoring tool and just mark it here, but and like this, like just outside the area. But this paper is super thin. It's, I don't even know where I got this paper from. It's probably some old Michael's paper. So I'm just gonna fold that over, and then you can fold this one over, and we have plenty of leftover, so I'll cut that off. You just want it to overlap a little bit, and you also don't want it to be so tight that it's gonna be hard to pop on and off. So let's see where we're at. Yeah, that would be good. And again, I didn't do any measurements for that. Obviously you can save paper if you do a little bit of measuring and think about what you want to do more. So that's good. I don't like having a ton of overlap, so I would just do that. And then depending on what you want to put on here, you know, do you want to glue this down? I usually put this part towards the front because you're going to put something cute over this, right? So let's say it's like a rosette, or, I mean, that would be adorable. Some kind of ephemera, whatever it is. I always put this towards the front because you're going to cover it up anyway. So let's just pretend that's your belly band. And then also, do you want to go ahead and decorate this? You can do that too. And you can, you know, it's 1.5 inches wide. Do a little matte layer of something, a little matte layer on the back if you want to decorate the back too. But basically that's how I do a belly band. And then of course you decorate it however you want, right? The sky's the limit there on that one. I'm going to hold that down for a second like that. Like this belly band I showed you guys the other day on the 5x7 card. So again, that's where I joined it. And then I made a huge, you know, cluster here. But you can do something smaller. I'm telling you, rosette would look really cute on that. Actually, I have a rosette sitting right here. You know, do a little matte layering and then have a little rosette on top. Adorable. Yeah, so lots of different ways to do that. I just want to show you quickly how I would do the belly band. And then just grab whatever ephemera or matte layers I want, maybe just a little stamping, whatever it is. All right, guys. So, and I did 1.5 inches wide because I thought that would be a good width. All right, so just something quick and easy to make a little money holder. You can even write something on the back. You have plenty of room for that, right? So there you go. All right, guys, thanks for watching. You can go back and hear the numbers again. Again, it's 6.5 by 6, scored at 1.5 on one side, 1 3/4 on the other side, and then matte layers as you would like, right? I mean, pretty simple. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you all at the next one. Bye now.